Good afternoon and welcome to ISPA Chats with Product Pros series number 4. We're going to have people load in and we'll start in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're coming to us from. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the ISPA Chats with Product Pro series. It's our 4th conversation. I can't believe how fast the time is going. And we're so glad you're here with us today as we explore changing the guest experience through technology with ideas from ISPA's resource partner community. And we have 4 fantastic panelists today with us. We're going to share their wisdom and their business savvy, all relating to technology. Last week we had the women, this week we have the men. So it's a contest, a fun contest. But before we start, a few housekeeping items. Please use the chat feature in Zoom to send us questions. Also, if you're on Facebook Live, we do have that being moderated as well. So send your questions through. You all help the discussion move along so well. Thank you so much for participating in that way. Also, we do record this session, so if you have to step away or want to review what we say today, it's going to be on our ISPA YouTube channel. Also, it's on our Facebook page also, so you'll have 2 ways to access the information. And lastly, because our panelists come from different companies that offer different products and services, their insights and observations may differ, and that is a good thing, because we want to have a variety of opinion for you to choose from that best suits your business. So without further ado, we're going to start our conversation today. I'm going to go first to you, Frank. Frank, my good friend Frank. In our previous town halls, we've heard that one of the positive outcomes of the pandemic is that it's pushed spas to implement or speed up their plans to utilize technology in more advanced and efficient manners. So how has your company, how has Resort Suite helped spas take this step to use technology in new ways to improve their business and guest experience?
Thank you, Patrick, and hi, everyone. I mean, I would say what we've seen is that spas have really taken to looking at what their technology can do. I mean, this is not about spending any more money. This is more about really leveraging the products that you already have in place, how you can really make the most of them. And a lot of our clients have really looked at what we did is we offered the ability to enhance their booking experience, to really engage with the guests, especially now where there needs to be a lot of good communication with your guest about what to expect and the ability for them to self-serve in a lot of areas. So through both our online booking and through our mobile app, we really work with a lot of our spa clients. And what we did is we offered them and said, we're going to defer if there's any custom work to do, which in many cases there is not, but if there's any custom work that you want to do, let's defer the payment of that until you're open for at least a month and revenue's coming in. But for now, let's focus on getting you ready for that, getting ready to engage with guests that are going to arrive with brand new expectations, quite frankly, expectations that we never had to deal with before. And so we invested a lot in our touchless technology, so delivering a lot of ways that spas, that guests can actually check in, even in a hotel context, could check into their room, get a digital key, check into their spa treatments, pay, touchless with their phone, really do everything from their own sort of sanitized mobile device without having to touch a lot of different things throughout the property. So it's really just about getting a really good booking in journey as well online. And that'll alleviate a lot of the calls that you're going to get, where we're seeing with a lot of spas where they're getting this surge of calls with questions and everything else. If we can start to push that to those digital channels, it really frees up your staff to to focus on other aspects of the business. So that's what we've seen, and we've been helping our clients both through the lockdown where they were planning, through to reopening, and all of those strategies to help welcome their guests in sort of this new normal.
And Frank, can you tell us the name of your company and the services that you offer for those who don't know?
Thanks, Patrick. I'm the founder and CEO of Resort Suite, and we offer a fully integrated platform, obviously for spa, but well beyond that, for hotel and food and beverage, and really all aspects of the customer experience. But we integrate with all the major platforms as well, and so really try to deliver technology that allows you to deliver the best guest experience possible.
And what do you think is the biggest hurdle that you're seeing as spas attempt to make that leap from maybe a more manual system, a more manual way of booking, into a more technologically advanced type of booking system, whether it's online or cashless transactions or touch screens? So what's the biggest hurdle you're seeing at the property level for spa directors as they try to make that transition?
I think sometimes they overthink it. They may think the technology, or they may not really understand what it can do. So that's where I think you need to engage with your partners, whoever your partners. If Sean from Book for Time is your partner, or us, or Jay, engage with them and really understand what the technology can do. Because as you sit down and think about it, there's so many aspects that we need to rethink today in terms of how we engage with guests, how we offer our products and services, and really, what mix of those services we should be offering, right? So just taking that step back to kind of rethink the business and engage with your partners to get a good understanding. Because I don't know how many times I go into clients and I show them something and they're like, wow, I didn't know it could even do that. And so it's about not knowing what they don't know. So engage with your partner. We have a lot of online content. A lot of companies provide great tools, and we've seen during all of this, we've seen spas really engage with that. There's been a lot of great learning. This is an example of great learning. I think what you've done with the ISPA team and what you've helped to moderate here, I come away from every one of them and I learned something. So I think it's just about, as a community, coming together and learning more and more, especially about the tools and technologies you already have in place. It's not about spending more money. It's about leveraging what they can do.
Thank you so much for that. And I agree, the iSpot team has done an amazing job in leveraging this platform technology to speak to our global spa community. So thank you, iSpot and the staff, for doing that. We greatly appreciate that. Jay, I'm coming to you next from TechnoGym. The same question. You're the man of the hour right now. There's lots of interest in how to keep fitness centers safe and keep people safe in fitness centers. So how TechnoGym is leveraging technology to help spas keep their business and keep their guests safe and have a great guest experience. How are you guys doing that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Patrick. First, a quick introduction, if I may. I've been with TechnoGym for nearly 12 years, Vice President of Sales for Hospitality and Residential. TechnoGym has been in 35 plus years of business, committed to fostering wellness relationships, promoting the wellness lifestyle, which again, the wellness lifestyle today is regular exercise, is proper nutrition and mental approach, all things incredibly important and relevant today. Wellness, maybe helping to combat against the pandemic, wellness in the sense of maybe helping to, boost immunity for post-pandemic, right? So we're continuing to lead in terms of supplier products for fitness equipment, digital solutions, and that kind of lends right into the question there, Patrick, when it comes down to technology and digital. So TechnoGym specifically has been in the member wellness lifestyle movement for nearly 25 years with the wellness system. We went cloud-based back in 2011. So for nearly 10 years, cloud-based. For my spa and hotel operators in our world, it seems, it's sad in a way that it's taken a pandemic to really drive home the message of the years of experience and the years that our team have been working with communicating about the digital solutions. I'm happy though, because here we are in an opportunity to help the spa operators to basically have a more meaningful relationship and connect deeper with your customers. So, when we think about our strategy, it's always about wellness on the go. We want to put your member, your guest, your resident at the very, very epicenter, whether they're in the gym, and we know, right, based on the CDC guidelines today, some states are open with gyms, some are not. So there's an impact there. At home wellness. At home is on the rise. I think I've seen some suppliers, including, we're up 200% in home fitness sales. It's an incredible opportunity for you, the operator, to basically touch that member, that guest, that residence, keep your brand, keep your impressions going and fostering a relationship, and also keeping them well too, right? If you're a spa operator in a wellness community, a leisure club, country club, you have a responsibility to your member base to making sure that the people that enter those doors are well, and those that are not well or fear of somebody that's not well, how can you connect? I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with spa operators that are leveraging Zoom. I've seen boutique fitness studios, the craze of the Instagram Live, is really upon us. So, TechnoGym continuing to develop solutions and enhance what is our, professional platform, the My Wellness Cloud, the My Wellness app, allowing operators to be able to live stream via platform, allow to build out an on-demand library. So technology is here, and it's really only here to help you as an extension of what your brand is and how you want to communicate and foster that wellness message to your members.
So when you talk about cloud-based solutions, you're talking about technologies like Instagram Live or having the in-room component active in hotels and spas for their guests there, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm talking about app-based TechnoGym's My Wellness app, which allows you to basically manage the experience, promote information about what's going on in terms of closures, how much occupancy, so that this way they have an expectation, the guest or the member, of what's going on in and around the facility. And of course, as you mentioned, social media is a huge, huge platform for getting out your message. And here we are on a Zoom call. And as I said, a lot of spa operators are leveraging, Zoom or Vimeo to be able to communicate and broadcast from their studios to their members.
And I'm asking you to put on and look into a crystal ball and think about the future, but with all of the advent of so much online working out and classes and, at home workout equipment, how is that going to impact what we're doing at a spa fitness level in terms of what do you see that impact being in the future?
So I think many are going to, entertaining training experiences is what they're getting, right? So we're used to going, fitness used to be episodic, or wellness. Episodic meant you had your daily touch point with wellness, and it was going to the gym. Wellness has evolved, though, as I talked about the wellness lifestyle and the nutrition and the mental wellness and the routines, but then also now entertaining training experiences, what they're getting out of the Instagram Lives, what they're getting out of these live platforms to be able to deliver an experience that's beyond just going and doing what you normally did. So the challenge, the bar, the rate is going to be raised on how to execute in the sense of providing more content that they can trust and feel like they're getting the best out of the experience that they have.
And one last question before we go to Sean. I'd love for him. There's a lot of discussion about whether guests should or should not wear masks when they're working out. I know different states and different counties have different regulations around this. What is TechnoGym's view of that? And how can we keep, one question came up today on a call I was on is, if a guest is coming in to work out and they can take the mask off while they're on the cardio equipment, where do they put the mask? And then who's after they leave? So, what's the view of TechnoGym on masks and working out?
Yeah, hey, great.
Catching a little by surprise, Jay, but it's been a hot topic, so I wanted to get your thought on that.
Great question, and I'm happy to say I did get out to market. I left my house here a couple weeks ago twice, meet with some great ISPA members for some post installations, and and in staying at a hotel resort, had the opportunity to train. The fitness facility was open, and I did train with a mask. It was a smaller space, and I felt more comfortable to do that. Just not, even though nobody else was in there, it was my responsibility in my own way to kind of just maybe keep myself safe, or if anybody else entered. I don't think TechnoGym has necessarily a specific stance as far as the company. We want to make sure that you're following the local governances, whatever is applicable by state, by country, by region, however it's being done is got to be, the best community message that we can do is to try to thwart this. So Patrick, I think I've trained with a mask. It's not easy to train with a mask, by the way. So, I do understand the reasons for the questions, because they're becoming more and more restrictions posed about mask wearing. So hopefully I'm answering that question as best as I can.
You are. I think you're saying, be safe, be smart, and follow the guidelines that your cities and states and governments put into place. So I think it's pretty straightforward.
Exactly.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Sean, Book for Time. In a previous life of mine, I worked with Book for Time, so it's nice to have you on the call.
Thanks for having me, Patrick. It's great to be here.
How is Book for Time helping spas adapt to the new technological world that we're in right now? How's your company doing that?
Yeah, we've been busy. I think we've helped in a couple of different ways. First, from a technology perspective, with launching a number of new capabilities, specifically on the contactless side, with things like mobile check-in, mobile checkout. We've had digital guest intake forms out in market for about 3 years now, that as well. And then in addition to that, we've been working on a slated launch for Q4 for a new omni-channel commerce platform that goes beyond online and mobile booking. It allows spas to go out and sell more retail, and then drive more revenue from things like day passes and access to amenities and whatnot. We anticipate traffic levels being lower, so we want to provide our customers with all the tools to drive as much revenue as possible from the guests that are on their properties, as well as to provide a safe, contactless experience. And then outside of that, it's one thing to push out new capabilities and features to the software, and it's another to help our customers adopt those capabilities. So we have a dedicated customer success team, and they've been rolling out weekly refresher training sessions to help our customers reopen and plan and incorporate these new technologies in our operations.
One thing that you said that was kind of interesting, was very interesting, is the Omnichannel Platform. Can you speak a little bit deeper about that?
Sorry, Patrick, I had a little bit of an interruption here with the internet connection. I didn't quite get that.
Platform. You mentioned an omni-channel platform. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what that looks like and how that operates?
Yeah. So part of it is incorporating retail in the online and mobile booking. So say, for example, if you're going to book a treatment, depending on the treatment, just like you would have add-on services that are featured as part of an online and mobile booking flow for a service, we're going to incorporate a recommended product capability so that a guest could go out and purchase retail products as part of that same flow. And then also, as part of that overall flow, when it comes to the in-spa experience, making it really easy for a therapist to recommend some retail products and have the guest actually sign off and potentially purchase those retail products within room, and either have those products, have them ready for pickup at the front desk, or allowing the capability for a spa to have those products drop shipped directly to the consumer, especially in a resort setting where a guest may not want to take home a bunch of retail product.
Can you, and Frank, I'll come to you on this question in just a moment too. So Dr. Jason, give me one moment and I'll come to you, but this is an interesting piece here because it's a puzzle, I think, for spa operators that we're seeing that comes through a lot on the ISPA questions that we get from our membership. So with the touchless check-in and check-out, how are you maintaining PCI compliance, which is going to be the first question that our directors of IT are going to ask us when we go in and say we want to move to a touchless check-in, check-out mobile situation. How are you handling the PCI compliance part of that? And then Frank, I'll come to you with the question as well.
Great. Yeah, with Book for Time, we don't store any credit card information directly within the system. That's all handled by and through the payment gateway.
And Frank?
Sorry, yeah, we don't, just saying, we don't store, transmit, or process credit card data at all. And when you do prompt a guest for a credit card, it's actually, they're entering it in at the gateways page. It's not actually built into our app or on your website or anything like that. And in many cases, we do that once and we store the token for that credit card. So from that point on, you just pre-auth or charge that token, which represents the card. So yeah, it's fully PCI compliant, a very similar posture that Book for Time is using as well.
Thank you for the clarification. I know that question will come up as we talk about these new technologies. How do we keep it in line with our safety guidelines that we have in place? So thank you both, Frank and Sean, for that. I'm coming to you, Dr. Jason, on how Theragun, Therabody is helping our spas adapt to the new technological world that we're in. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this. You know, I think first of all, for people to understand, Theragun and Therabody, we're not a device company. If you just wanted to buy a massage device, you can get on Amazon and buy one for $100 nowadays, which is sort of sad, but it is the way it is. Therabody, we've formerly known as Theragun, we are a tech wellness company, and every product we have has an ecosystem built around it. So from our scientifically validated protocols in a spa setting, in a massage setting, having Bluetooth connectivity to the device, and the protocols being preset, we have non-porous, hyperallergenic attachments that can be used. And I think the number one thing that we've found, we've been able to train over 500 massage therapists during COVID remotely. Think about that, where we're actually doing webinars teaching massage therapists how to use our device and our products. But what we've been able to do is take that Bluetooth technology, and now you can push an app or a protocol to a licensed massage therapist. The device will run on a timer, and it'll push through where to use it, how long to use it in those areas. But I think the most important part about this is, as I designed this over the last 10 years, it's become more and more ergonomically designed. As a chiropractor myself, the device has to be an extension of my hand. So if you think about this being an extension of your hand, we actually have Bluetooth technology pushing a protocol to the device. Now the therapist is literally not touching the client, but the client is experiencing the most maximum benefit from percussive therapy, because the therapist now understands how to guide this across the body, and it really does become an extension of their hand. So I think all of those together, Patrick, is really what makes us so valuable inside of a spa setting, especially in today's age. And also our e-commerce or our retail solution. If a client is sitting there and they absolutely love that experience, we don't want to put that responsibility on the therapist to have to go through the sales process. So we have a lot of really neat, unique retail experiences where the client could actually look at an iPad, experience, understand what they're used for, and then we actually drop ship to over 60 countries. So if they're in Thailand and they want to go back to Hong Kong and they want to drop ship it to their home in Hong Kong, we can do those things. So I think what we've been able to do with our ecosystem surrounding our products is to be able to provide those solutions for the client at the spa level, at the room level, and then even back at their home if they want to. And now we have our mini device that is super easy to throw in your carry-on bag, keep in your backpack, and use that while you're traveling. So I think with all of those things, being able to have this be something that they're using that keeps them from touching the client, which is what you asked, I think that's probably one of the best things about our Theragun.
I think one thing that you said, and I don't know if you've already coined this phrase, is tech wellness. I don't know if you realized you said that, but
Yes.
it's a very interesting concept that, so much of wellness for us has been, the connection between the guest and the therapist's or the esthetician's hands.
Yeah.
Talking about another level of wellness, which is based on technology. You said something that sort of echoed what Sean said about drop shipping, ordering online. I think what makes a spa director nervous when you say that is, how am I going to realize the revenue from that sale? How am I going to account for that in terms of my inventory? How is that going to work on the back end? Is it going to affect my cost of goods? Is it going to impact inventory levels? Can you speak to that in any sort of way?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate you calling those out. We actually have those solutions. So we have 3PLs in 45 countries, so that your purchase, we follow that URL. So there's a URL that they would actually order from your position, your spa, wherever that is, from that location. We track that. So it's just like you inventorying the product. You get your margins. We just do the drop shipping on our end. We track it on the backside, so we know where those are coming, whether it's a payout every 30 days, 15 days, 10 days, whatever the spa wants. These are things we're actively doing now. So there could be an iPad that sits there where they could actually engage. We track that iPad's URL, and that commission or override, or whatever you want to call that, does go back to the spa owner. And it's kind of a one-off for each spa. We actually go in and have a conversation with them. How many do you want to have here where they can experience this themselves, hold on to it? Because there really is something about aesthetically holding on to a product like that. I mean, it's between $200 and $600. So they want to be able to touch it. So it's really providing those solutions at the spa level where they're actually engaging with the therapist, maybe even back in their room where they can borrow one from the spa, leave it in their room, and it returns back to the spa. We actually have boundaries now where that Theragun will be connected to the Wi-Fi at the hotel. And if it leaves that Wi-Fi, it actually shuts off, becomes disabled. And then you have a location ability to actually track where it is. So some guy has it in his suitcase in Chicago. You can actually contact that person, disengage the product, and track the Theragun. So all of those things, I feel like we need to provide the menu for that spa owner or director and have them go through and say, I really like this. I don't want this. I'd rather inventory this, because a lot of people want to just take it with them now. And all of our products are travel TSA friendly. We actually have some videos on our website that shows people how to pack them. Put this in your carry-on, put this in the checked baggage. But I can appreciate that the nervousness with spa owners when we talk about just drop shipping, how it kind of keeps them out of the loop on the revenue side. And we've definitely addressed that. That's not how we function. So appreciate you pointing that out too, by the way.
For clarifying that. I think that puts a lot of people's minds at rest. And I think, based upon the research that we're seeing, that type of retail experience is going to be the future for many spas and many other establishments. I want to switch gears a little bit and come back to you, Frank. I know with Resort Suite, you do a lot of training. You've been to our properties training many times. Thank you for coming. But I want to know how you're really handling that in the time of COVID, and we can't travel as much as we want to, or we can't travel at all. How your company is addressing that and still providing that hands-on experience in the training process.
Absolutely, Patrick. And before I answer that, Patrick, I just want to follow up. There was a question in the chat. It was a follow-up to our credit card discussion. Sherry asked, for credit cards, how are you addressing the additional cost of card not present? And Sherry, and this is the fact that if you put a credit card in online versus actually taking a physical card, some of the processors will actually charge you a surcharge, a higher rate for those cards where the card is not present, where you're doing it as an online transaction. But Sherry, what most of our spa clients do is they set it up so that they take a credit card as a guarantee for the reservation. So if it's a no-show or whatever, you actually have a token on file that you can charge that card. But what happens is when the guest arrives, they typically do a check-in and they'll tap the card, or physically you maybe use Apple Pay or what have you. But at that point, they would get what would be considered a card present token. And from that point on, once you store that token, you can use it over and over, and it's considered a card present transaction with the lower fees. So there's different strategies you can take, and definitely talk to your technology company to make sure that you're employing the most cost-effective strategy. And to training, Patrick, really speaks to that, is just, being able to, what we did is we created a whole series during COVID in terms of creating online content. Every week we had 1 to 2 webinars that we were going into parts of the product, and they were really, really well attended. I would say double what a typical webinar that we would do would be. And so that was really encouraging that our clients, and some of them weren't even working. They were actually furloughed, and they were still logging in and doing the education. And obviously all of that content, just like these webinars, stays on so that at any point in time, our clients can go and visit that content. And we also noticed that they were digging a lot deeper into the products. So going into things as they were rethinking their business prior to reopening, and rethinking how to do things like revenue management, or some of the things that they were hearing about that they could be doing. We really saw a thirst for that knowledge. And in fact, we were supposed to have our user conference scheduled March 30th. So clearly that didn't happen. And in a lot of ways, we put a lot of the content that we would have done at our user conference, we put that into those webinars and into online content. So it's all available there for our teams. And we have a customer success group, and we do one-on-one coaching with clients. So really look at what their needs are. And it's in our best interest that our clients are using our systems to their full potential. I'm sure Sean would agree that, clients use a fraction of what our technologies can really do. So this has been, a time, and we get it. We know that spas never have enough time, especially spa directors. There's just so much going on in your day-to-day operations. So in a lot of ways, they're going to come out stronger from this knowledge that they're gaining during this time, and hopefully utilize that to just run a better business. So we've been helping them through that for sure.
That's great. With people not being at work for the number of hours they're used to being at work, trainings are key. They're key. And you learn so much about what you have at your fingertips you don't even know you have. You can actually train on the product. Thank you, Frank. Jay, TechnoGym, how are you guys approaching training and that reach to your partners right now?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Patrick. And echoing a lot of what Frank has just indicated too, we early on had developed a rotation of webinars, a series of webinars related to technology rollouts and how to help, again, when we talk about that wellness coaching and entertaining training experiences, Patrick, even Montage, right, where we had, rolled out the T Wellness coaching app available for the employee well-being too, right? So it is not just about your guests and your members, but it's about your people. Your people are so important to you. And I've had so many discussions with folks that when on the bounce back or when we were coming back, how many therapists were tired and just sore from the delay of not working. So their mental wellness, their conditioning, there's so many different tools and things. So training, Frank, echo you what you're saying in terms of webinars, Zooms, thinking about an implementation of a fitness facility, right? We tend to do post-installation walkthrough. We make sure we work with the various groups, or we'll say the cross functions in a hotel or resort, where you're talking about with the spa, with the senior operations leaders, and then also with the housekeeping or engineer team, and you're kind of spelling all this out. and providing them high level nuggets about who TechnoGym is, sell the story, the vision, give the sales and marketing teams when they take people on a tour from a group business. We can't do that right now. So interestingly enough, not only in terms of visits post-install, but we're a visit-oriented business where we go and get eyes on to fitness facilities. We use that field visit to assess what the navigational challenges will be to have equipment in this side of the space versus, the position in the orientation. And, Zoom has become in some ways strangely, like if I would have said to an engineer a few months ago that, hey, can I Zoom you? Because I just can't get out into the market. It would have been like, are you kidding? FaceTime, Zoom, what are you talking about? Like, we're not doing that. Come meet me. To today, it's like, hey, that's okay. Let's just Zoom. Let's take a look at the space. And it's really helped to basically allow us to be as productive as possible, given the constraints. So again, leveraging that technology has been huge.
Thank you, Jay, and thank you for the access to the TechnoGym app for our associates. That was a really generous gift from TechnoGym. Thank you. Dr. Jay, you have a unique situation because your tools are actually used by the therapist, and you can't go and demonstrate it with them. So how are you handling this time in terms of training and educating, which I think would be a big piece of that success for that tool?
Yeah, we, just like Jay mentioned, the idea of training someone as a massage therapist through Zoom was ridiculous, 6 months ago. So we had to pivot. We actually have online digital learning systems. So what we do, our process right now is we push our programming to a licensed massage therapist. They take an online course at their leisure. It's not timed or anything like that. It has quizzes and things inside. Then they schedule an appointment and we actually do a webinar. And we have three licensed massage therapists in the States. We have one in London and one in Spain. And we actually teach these courses through interactive through a webinar. We've been able to certify, like I mentioned earlier, over 500 massage therapists through this process just during COVID. Now it is one-on-one, and we have a large monitor where each person has their ability to interact with the therapist. The therapist teaches a module, and then we have what we call our practical. So that the therapist will actually monitor each person on the screen and making sure they're doing that modality or whatever it is properly. And then at the end, this is the great thing. The licensed massage therapists get continuing education credits because our course is actually certified by nationally governing bodies to be able to provide that course for them. So for a massage therapist, it's actually an incentive for them to get their continuing education credits. And then they also get a certification when we're done. So they are certified to be able to use a Theragun in their setting. And the ongoing support of that, we have 100, 200, and 300 level courses. We have Therabody University at Theragun. And our Therabody University is actually what provides this for the therapists. And if they want to graduate to a 200 level class, that's great. There's education and continuing education credits for that as well. So they can graduate and start to apply more of these modalities in their clinic. But in short, we have digital learning classes that they can access at any point in the evenings, whenever they want to. And then they'll sign up for a webinar, and that will be a 4-hour course. And it's a full-on 4-hour course. Sounds crazy to do in a webinar. We've actually done 2 of these a day for several days, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. So we have the staff, we have the tools, and we have the actually continuing education credits that make it a bonus for the licensed massage therapist.
I have a question from Irina Lander. She wants to know, specifically for you, Dr. Jason, how you're incorporating the Theragun into massage therapy. Is it all thing? Is it a combination of manual touch and the technology? How are you integrating that?
So that is another thing that we do like to discuss with the spa director or whoever's running that division. But some of the ways we've done this is we actually have a pre and a post. So it can be something that's their normal treatment is sandwiched between a pre and a post treatment. We actually integrate it into the therapy. We actually have what we call just a percussive therapy option. So if you can imagine the menu, I don't recall her name that asked the question, but if you can kind of imagine a menu of, you can just have a percussive therapy treatment that's 8 to 10 minutes. You can have it integrated into the therapist, into the treatment, or you can have it be part of a larger part of that treatment. It can be a finishing. We actually call it the finish sweep, where it actually, you just kind of do a full sweep of the body at the end of the therapy. So I think, to answer her question, what we've done in the past, and we've worked with other massage groups like this, we take their menu, we work with the director and say, how does this fit in? Is it an add-on? And I think in hotels, you can actually offer an in-room treatment that's a 10 to 12 recovery treatment if they've had a long day traveling. We actually have what we call our, oh my gosh, what is it when you get, when you travel and you have
Recovery.
Yes, thank you. Jeez, I don't know what's happening. I totally forgot that.
We all,
But I think it's the idea of having it not be an all or nothing, that it really is something that can be incorporated. And I think for some people, we recognize that it is a different, new looking product and treatment. They may want to test it a couple of times. Hey, yeah, can you just try it at the beginning or the end? But those are things that we work with each spa on. And we have at Theragun or Therabody now, we actually have a spa division. So we have people that actually go in, you can sit down and have an appointment with them, webinar, Zoom, whatever you want to call it. And we actually discuss that, because each spa, we recognize, has a little bit different delivery and a little bit different sort of ethos. And one of the things we like to be able to do is provide, particularly for them, if they're like, hey, we really enjoy this protocol, we can program that protocol on the devices. So the therapist, all they have to do is push that button, choose that option, and it'll run through that protocol, which in a therapy session, timing is really important. You can't go over 10 minutes for 8 patients, and at the end of the day, you're 2 hours late. So that's a really important aspect we've added in as well. So I know that's probably not a direct answer to your question, but I would, that's what part of what we like to do at Therabody, is really engage with them and find out what's your end result you're looking for.
so it's a very customizable experience for the spa owner, spa director, to create how they're going to incorporate the device into the actual service. It's not prescriptive to a certain degree.
That's perfectly said.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm sure Irina is very happy about that.
Yeah.
Jay, I have a question for you from Daniel Poulin from Accor. With the advent and the need for outdoor fitness, what solutions is TechnoGym creating to address that need to be outdoors now in terms of being safe?
Hey, Daniel, how are you? Thank you, Patrick, for that question. Yeah, so we think of the TechnoGyms is from gym-centric to guest-centric, and it's about the journey, everything from online booking to in-room wellness in the fitness facility. But then there's other ancillary great touch points, the various touch points that people are looking to connect with. So when we think of the outdoor space, many think immediately to the equipment aspect of things. And this is a technology platform, right? So we have to think about, how does technology integrate into the wellness arena of the outdoor space? And I'll bring it back to TechnoGym's My Wellness app, where we have GPS tracking and capabilities. So you download the application, it geolocates you, provided that this particular property has got the right level of license, and you can have your outdoor tracking hub link your other devices, your Apple Health, your applications that you might use, Map My Run, Runkeeper, or other smart devices like Polar to capture all your data. But at the same time, with our ability now in our My Wellness, a custom light feature that enables you to provide communications, a landing page. Maybe you have a safe run 5K running route that you say, hey, exit here, and go around the property and come back to this destination. You'll have run a 5K, and that could be a map that's now kept right there at their fingertips. Keeping in mind that we all talk about the minimal touch points now, right? We want to touch things a lot less. Everybody wants to touch only this, because it's theirs, right? So the idea of touching a paper map that some other people have thumbed through to grab a couple of them or grab one of them that might have touched. It's icky right now at this point. So keeping the device, and having all this information at your fingertips. You can also add in information related to some outdoor schedules. Maybe you have an outdoor yoga and you want to promote that. You can promote it on the app. And at the same time, we have workouts of the day, body weight style workouts, and these entertaining training experiences. You go out into a beautiful garden in a resort. You go out to the beach in Santa Monica when it was, acceptable, I guess, to be able to go out there, and you see people training on the lawn right there doing workouts. So people are training with following along with the content that's being provided. So I would say it's not always about equipment, but it's about what you can provide as the operator.
But you do have the outrace.
We do have the outrace.
You do
Yes, absolutely. We have great solutions that are weatherproof, hurricane proof, and we have the certifications to go with all that stuff. And it's functional. And getting outdoors is functional training. So absolutely.
I guess too, the thought that Daniel brought up, I think that many directors probably have, is you have most of the time when we interface with TechnoGym, we're interfacing with you because we need treadmills, or we need a skill mill, or a row, or we need the new TechnoGym bike, or we need a new spin bike. But what you're saying is that we have available for our directors and our fitness professionals an entire array of other options that captures fitness from a different type of perspective.
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Think outside the box. Allow us to work with you and curate the experience that you want to deliver for the property, and we have, I'm sure, something for the need.
And are you finding spa directors more open to those less traditional forms of fitness at this point, or are you still having to educate on that?
Outdoor wellness was starting to become on the rise pre-COVID. So early on, once we went into lockdown, the conversation quickly, spilled over to outdoor exercise, getting outside the four walls of the fitness facility. So it's only amplified it now at this point.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, Sean. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about ROI, because I think part of what we have to do when we're proposing new technologies, new ways of working, is demonstrate for whoever we have to demonstrate for, whether it's a bank or a GM or an ownership group, the return on that investment. So how do you help spa directors and spa owners make that leap from concept to the actual ROI of your cloud-based systems, of your omni-channel platforms, your mobile check-in, mobile check-out? There are some costs. It may not be a huge cost, but there are some costs, even if it's training. So how do you help people make that ROI statement for their ownership groups, GMs, et cetera?
Definitely a great question. I mean, I started my software career right after the crash in 2008, selling into mid-market automotive manufacturers in Michigan. And I think with the hospitality industry, we find ourselves in a much the same situation where there's a lot of scrutiny around dollars that are being spent, and organizations are looking to get more out of less. And I think with being a cloud-based technology, we have the ability to really kind of lower a lot of the typical overheads that are associated with technology, not only in terms of the upfront implementation of technology and hardware, but the ongoing maintenance and support. Probably the biggest testament that I have, I was talking with David, our controller. He's sending out renewals. He had a conversation with one of our customers, the Del Coronado, with their controller, and she was ecstatic to pay the renewal bill. Their investment in Book for Time has paid huge dividends. In the first 6 months of implementing, they've been able to increase their revenues by over 6 figures. So I think there's many different touch points and many levers that a spa director can use to make these investments in software and technology pay. We've got a great resource on our website that speaks to that exactly in terms of justifying the purchase of SPA software. So I'd encourage all attendees to go on our website and check that white paper out. And then also to work with your partners. We're experts in it. We have the customer stories that can help sort of paint the picture and help you get the approval for these types of projects.
That's great. Thank you so much. Dr. Jason, we know that Theragun is an investment, and you're buying multiple ones, most likely when you're bringing in the product.
Yeah.
How do you justify, help the spa director, the spa owner justify that investment?
There's a charge. We did a soft launch with a massage company, and we actually had in the first week, we had 47 upgrades to where they added on a $25 add-on at the end of the treatment with a Theragun. So the revenue is actually a direct link. In our opinion, it starts with the training. We've got to be able to make sure that the licensed massage therapist, whoever's providing that service, is comfortable with the product. The more comfortable they are with the product and using it on their clients, then it just feels better. There's an engagement that happens, and people, they want to experience it and understand what's happening maybe at the front desk, and we have some solutions for that, so that when they get in the treatment room, they're actually saying, yes, I would love to have that extra treatment. So there is add-ons. There's also your margins that you make on your ROI on the retail side, whether you're actually holding it in the spa or we're drop shipping them. So our retail solutions are pretty vast. It really depends on the touch points and how we can help facilitate that with the spa director. Did that answer the question, hopefully?
That did. Upgrades, upgrade, add on.
Yes.
And demonstrate that you can do that. It really helps make the case for it. Frank, coming to you. Thank you, Dr. Jason. Frank, coming to you on the same question, that ROI. I know we've asked you a gazillion times about ROI when we work with you, but how do you address that with the spa director and spa owner?
So I think, Patrick, I would break your question maybe up into two. One is for clients that already use our technology, and the other one for clients that maybe are looking to potentially make a change. And I would say for the ones already using our technology, it's looking at, those incremental investments sometimes, and they're really easy to look at and say, if we were to add a mobile app to now engage our guests more, and if they're booking, an additional treatment per day or what have you, you can do the ROI calculations, and we have testimonials and case studies around all of those things. The ongoing addition of that one add-on, either technology or booking engine or whatever it might be, is so small relative to the potential ROI, the potential revenue impact it could have. And so, looking at that, I think it's a pretty straightforward, and we help our clients, through that type of thinking to sell to their stakeholders, to their owners, to their management. And then I would say when they're looking at, what COVID also has done is it's also made our hotel clients and spa clients realize what they have and what they don't have. And so they're really looking at their entire business. And sometimes they're looking, look, if I was to make this investment, let's say in Resort Suite, well, now I can serve my members better. I can serve my hotel guests. I can serve, my spa clients. And I can create less is more, right? I can actually create one technology that can serve all the different segments that I serve. Instead of all these multiple systems everywhere, I've got one app that can really drive the entire guest journey. So it comes down to simplicity. It's kind of like buying a smartphone today, like an iPhone, versus years ago when we had all kinds of different devices with different wires and cables. And that's the world we are in hospitality right now. We've got all these different systems and technologies. They all need to kind of work together, but they were never really designed to. So I think when you look at that ROI, sometimes 1 year, you look at 1 year and say investing in a product like this that's fully integrated and will deliver this kind of guest experience. And in 1 year, we will have saved more in all of those interface costs and everything else that we have. and actually deliver a much better experience, and we have that uptick in revenue that goes with providing a superior guest experience. So I think those are straightforward calculations, just a matter of sitting down. And we're actually quite surprised at how many clients that in fact are closed right now that are actually looking at technology investments, because they get that the more that we can automate and streamline the guest experience, the stronger off we're going to be down the road. So if we just continue to perpetuate this problem, it's just going to be an issue ongoing, and we're not going to improve. So we've been seeing investments and helping them through those kinds of calculations, to really capitalize on this opportunity.
Frank, you hit it on the head. An investment in technology is an investment in the future.
Right.
And we all have to switch our thinking to not being afraid of technology or fearful of what cost that may be there, but it's about the future, how we build our industry for the future. That, to me, that's the big takeaway from all the great things that we've talked about, and leveraging what we have already that we can build upon, a technology platform. I think you said that at the very beginning, Frank. But it's about building for the future, which I think is fantastic. We're almost out of time, Jay. So I'm going to give you the last thought, Jay, in terms of what you see is the silver lining in this COVID time that we're in.
Super. First off, thank you to all the amazing panelists. Great discussion today. And I think it just echoes everything we've just heard, and Frank just encapsulated it too, which is wellness and technology, right? I mean, that's the end of the day. Is wellness, as I said at the beginning, is so important now for maintaining your health, combating against pandemic, boosting immunity, mental wellness. So we think about our great people that we serve and the great people that serve us in this industry to help us. Technology, the barriers are coming down. As I mentioned, 25 years in technology with the member wellness lifestyle management wellness system, now cloud-based. But if I just say one word to TechnoGym in the sense of technology in gymnastics, over 35 years ago. And Mr. Alessandri had the foresight back then to think about how that would play out. I'm so thankful and proud to work with them and TechnoGym and to serve this industry and work with all these great innovators, from Dr. Jason and to Sean and Frank and everybody else that we work with day in, day out. We couldn't do this without you. And your beliefs and trust in us are so paramount for us to motivate us to get up every day. It's why when Friday happens, it's not necessarily like, hey, it's Friday. I'm excited for the Monday, honestly speaking, about being able to connect. And hey, we have this Facebook Live and social media. I love seeing what everybody's up to on the weekends too. So it's like a great opportunity to keep connected nonstop. So, I think the community, the wellness aspect and technology, it's all coming together. So, thank you, Patrick, for your time today.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to Frank and Dr. Jason and Sean and you, Jay, for your time today. This was a really fantastic conversation. And I want to thank all of the people who tuned in today and asked questions and will continue to ask questions. It's really, that to me is the silver lining, is that we get to do this and connect with one another, even though we're distant. That's really important. So we're going to take a break next week from the ISPA product Chats with Product Pros. We will be back on August 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to focus on retail revenue boosters. You can register at chat and other town halls at experienceispa.com. Thanks again, everyone, and have a really beautiful, healthy, wonderful day.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.